Okay, so this is the second Battlerite profile, and we have a North American player on this time, none other than Jeter. How do you do?
What's up? How's it going?
I'm glad to have you on the show. If someone finds this interview and for some reason doesn't know you, could you introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, so I'm Jeter, player of YoungSung. My name happens to just come from my last name. There's a very popular North American baseball player, Derek Jeter. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
thinks my name comes from there, but it just happens to be my last name.
All right.
So that's where my name comes from. But yeah, I played for YoungSung with Ninjas and Rare Peep, and I've been playing probably weekly Battlerite tournaments for since I started playing the game like a year and a half ago. So I've been playing just like non-stop tournaments for a long time. And actually, Rare Peep used to be my first teammate.
Hmm.
I don't know if a lot of people know that he's my teammate now, but he was my teammate a long time ago, and I left him. Rest in peace, Rare Peep. But I left him for Chalt and Stro. Chalt was my teammate for about a year, and we're still close friends. I'm pretty close friends with all my teammates, so that's a really nice thing I like with the scene that currently I'm still friends with all of them. But yeah, right now I'm playing with Young Sung, and it's going pretty well.
It sure is. But how did you get into playing Battlerite in the first place?
So Battlerite, I knew of Bloodline Champions. I played it a little bit with my friends. I
Mm-hmm.
played it while it was, I think it was dead though. Played like just in houses with my
Mm-hmm.
friends. Something that comes back to memory is just the maps. I remember how big the maps were. Like some maps had like bridges and stuff. It was really cool. I remember like the capture the flag type game mode. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if it was exactly called capture the flag, but it was just really cool. And so I didn't really like play Bloodline Champions, but I knew of Battlerite because of DLC. So that was definitely a reason I played the game.
How soon did you realize that you were actually really good at the game?
So preseason one, I definitely didn't expect to get Grand Champion. It was definitely an easier season to get Grand Champion, but I was like platinum, and I kept going up in rank, and someone wanted to. I played like two tournaments with just my real life friend, and we did pretty well. We actually played against Eric Kune, who is a very popular NA player, and Ninjas, my current
Mm-hmm.
teammate, in a twos tournament. And they kind of troll picked us. They were playing Jumong Older, which was the other top team's comp, and we were able to beat them on that comp with Croak Esmo as our comp. And so that's really kind of sparked my interest in the tournament scene. And then some people asked me to play. They wanted the Croak player, because I was just the Croak player. That was just me. And so people like just wanted to play with the Croak. So that's where I started to, I guess, come in. That's where I got with Charlton and Stro is just they wanted the Croak player. That's it. That was me. They didn't care about me. They just wanted a Croak player.
I first saw you on Unsung, and you were the melee
Yes.
player there. Were you always a melee player? You mentioned a few teams before that as well.
Yeah. So definitely I was a Croak until Croak stopped working, right?
Hmm.
Because the team that we had to beat was Shifu Taya, basically, and Shifu Taya is like top three of Croak's hardest matchups to play. So it's like really hard to, be a Croak player and try to be in the tournament scene at the time. So I had to kind of flex towards other roles, and it's fun like learning other games. Like that's the fun part about like competitive games is just like learning how to play different ways and different play styles. So I picked up Baco. I picked up Rukon, Rygon when he came out. I probably played a ton. He's probably one of my best characters right now. And so I kind of just stuck to. I just decided to, I'll just play melee. That'll just be my role. I'll stop playing Croak and I'll just, go to melee. I couldn't really play Croak in like the NA competitive scene, so that's what kind of pushed me into the melee class. And when it comes to like other games, I've definitely stuck to like the melee archetype, I guess. Like League, I was jungle top lane, so I've definitely been on the archetype of melee. So I feel like from other games, I definitely take the experience of melee better than I have with like ranged DPS, probably one of my worst roles. But I've tried to. The fun part of the game is learning other type of ways to play the game. So I've definitely tried to flex to other positions a lot in this game.
What made you disband Unsung and form YoungSung?
Well, so there's a couple of different iterations of Unsung. It's kind of been the core of me and Chalt,
Yeah.
because it was Chalt, Stro, and I, and Stro kind of had like not a falling out with us like as individuals. Like we're still friends with like again all
Hmm.
my most of my teammates, and so he wasn't feeling the tournament. He didn't really want to play weekly tournaments anymore, and so we had to find a support. And he plays now, but it's just how the convenience, like people take breaks and find different teammates.
Yeah.
Um, so then I think we played with Hoodat for a little bit, then we played with Outcast, and then we played with Niwa, and we stuck with Niwa for a while.
Yeah.
And after a while, they both got kind of irritated with how the scene was going. It was kind of getting stale. Again, like we had like Enter the Arena tournament, I think last year February, and that's when people were having fun. And it wasn't until BPL where the tournament scene has really been popping again. And so they kind of took a break, and then I found um, I was able to get with Rare Peep and Ninjas after a little bit of maneuvering with their teammates, and it just so happened Chalt and Niwa were taking a break during the time that BPL was about to be announced. So that's why I'm not with Chalt and Niwa right now. Just kind of like unfortunate circumstances with in non-interest in playing the game anymore or playing the tournament scene. But I mean, Rare Peep and Ninjas are perfectly capable and fun teammates to play with, and I enjoy playing with them a lot.
What would you say the difference between Unsung and YoungSung is? Because you went from like, at least in the time with Niwa and like the last iteration of Battlerite, it was like kind of always overconfident on top, current SSG on top, and then you right after, and now it's kind of shifted.
Mm-hmm.
YoungSung, you've gone through the entire group stage of BPL without dropping a single game. So what would you say is the big difference between Unsung and YoungSung?
Well, I would say flex picking is like a huge difference with like the teams I've played in the past and YoungSung, because you have like ninjas where you can say he's like a serious player, but in reality you don't know what the guy plays, because he doesn't even play serious like when he actually plays the game. So, and Rare Peep used to be a ranged DPS main, and he took over the melee spot for me. So we're able to like flex very heavily. Like Rare Peep can still play or he can still play Taya if he wants. That's like his most played character in the game, and so we're able to kind of like maneuver around the roles, and it really messes with how the drafting works. And I think that's the biggest change actually, is the drafting going from like 1-1-1-2-1,
Mm-hmm.
how the draft worked, to now like blind. You both pick at the same time, reveal, both pick, reveal, both pick, reveal. I think that really helps our team kind of bait people into thinking we're playing comps that we're not playing.
When I talked to Jolts in my last interview, when I asked him about the difference between EU and NA, he also brought up this aggressive versus defensive, like how back
Mm-hmm.
in the day EU played like Paloma Varesh and something, which is very very defensive, and how NA has always been um, more aggressive, like, and talked about overconfident type of playstyle with the Shifu, the Taya. Um, would you say that you personally think that the more defensive, slower playstyle is like the better way to play the game?
No, because it depends a lot on the map. It depends a lot on the comp. Like against like a Varesh Paloma comp, you you tend to like, if you're trying to camp the Varesh Paloma comp, you tend to just lose from just value. Like the Paloma just out heals so much, so you need to be a little bit more aggressive or burst depending on the comp, the map. Like if it's like a really small map, pushing them out of the map really like from the start helps a ton in just grabbing orbs and whatnot. Dragon Day, if you push them out of the choke, it's very hard to get back into the choke. So definitely the aggressive playstyle helps a lot. And I think some of it is mixing up the tempo, sometimes going a little bit slower pace, sometimes playing a little bit more aggro. I think because when people start reading your habits, like a Shifu known to like immaterial first, then they're not even afraid of your counter until your immaterial is down. So you kind of want to mix up your play style a lot. So I wouldn't say one's better than the other, but I prefer one over the other. I prefer the longer micro trades than losing in one punish. I definitely prefer one playstyle towards the other. Not to say one's better.
I'd like to look a bit forward to what's about to happen in the BPL, because we're all done with group stage now.
Mm-hmm.
And Group A, your group, YoungSung beat everybody. Are you at all surprised over how went it well for you guys?
So I didn't expect a 6-0. So I mean, we had Space Station Gaming in our group, which was definitely the hardest.
Yeah.
We definitely had the hardest group. But before we even started the group stages, I was anxious, but I was definitely confident going in because we haven't played them since Ulrich came out. Like that time we played them was the first time we played them since Ulrich came out, and Ulrich's been out for a while, so that means we haven't played them for like 2 months. And so, Ninjas again being, a pretty easy transition from Sirius to Ulrich because they're both like the melee supports. I was relatively confident, but obviously not. I didn't think we were gonna, go 6-0 in the group.
I like to finish up with I have 4 statements, and I want you to say true or false. So I have 4 statements, and you can say whether they are true or whether they are false. So first one, YoungSung is the best team in NA.
Just true or false? True.
Yeah. All right. Niwa taught you how to play support.
True.
All right. EU greater than NA.
False.
All right. Battlerite has what it takes to become a big esport.
True.
All right. I'm glad. So where can people find you if they want to see you in other places after this?
Yeah, so now I've newly activated my Twitter, which is at Jeter's Legacy, just my name with an S and Legacy. And then you can also, I stream probably 4 times a week. You can find me on twitch.tv/Jeter, just my name. It's very easy to find. And so I stream 4 times a week, mostly do the in-house leagues. So it's very fun, high-level matches usually most of the time. So you can find me there, those 2 places.
All right. Great. So with that, I say thank you very much for being here. And good luck in your coming matches.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for watching the short version of my interview with Jeter. Some of the things that got cut in this version are what games Jeter used to compete in before Battlerite, Jeter's thoughts on Older, his thoughts on the teams in the Season 1 playoffs of the North American BPL. So if you like watching Jeter, these and other interesting topics are discussed in the full version of my second Battlerite profile, as well as more talk on the subjects that are already included in this version, so go check that out. Also subscribe to the channel, why don't you, for more Battlerite esports content.